Watch and learn how to play Gliding Goldfish from the My First Piano Adventure Level B lesson book. Today we are in My First Piano Adventure Lesson Book B, and we are looking at a song in here that is called Gliding Goldfish. Before we begin, we are going to learn about steps on the staff. Now, a step is when we move from one key to the very next key on the piano. I'm going to move this book so I can show you what I mean. So here's one key on the piano. If I want to make a step, I'm going to move to the very next key. And I can go up or I can go down. When I step, I do not go further. I have to be on the very next key. And if I'm playing it with my fingers, I'm also moving from one finger to the very next finger. And it doesn't have to be your thumb. It can be your middle finger to the very next finger up, or the very next finger down, maybe starting with your pinky. So the important thing to know is we're always moving from one finger to the very next one. So we've learned that you're moving from one key to the very next key, and you're moving from one finger to the very next finger. You're also moving from one letter to the very next letter. So this is the letter C. When we step up, we're moving to the very next letter in the alphabet, which is D. And if we move down, we're moving to the very next letter that came before it. So from C to B. Now, I know that I have started all of those steps on the same note C, but you can start a step anywhere on the piano as long as you move to the very next key, the very next finger, and the very next letter. On the staff, a step looks like this. It moves from one line to the very next space, or one space to the very next line. And a step can move up like this, or it can move down like this. Now let's learn how to play Gliding Goldfish. Before we begin, we need to figure out the basics of the song. So it tells us that we're going to play this like it's gliding. So as we think about the song, we should think about a goldfish gliding through water in its habitat. So the very first note is right here. Do you know what that note is? If you said C, you are correct. You can write a C here on this line. And if I look at the song, the entire song is in the treble clef. So it's all going to be with my right hand. And I also notice that it has two notes in it, C and D. And I play those notes individually on the first line forte, individually on the second line piano, and in the last line I'm going to play them together, which is why they look stacked up on each other. Okay, let's learn the first line of music. So we're going to start with a thumb on middle C right here. It goes like this: C, D, C, D, C, C, D, D, C, D. Can you play it with me? 1, 2, ready, go. C2, D2, C2, D2, C, C, D, D, C2, D2. Great job. Now the next line is exactly the same, except for we're going to play it quietly. So let's do the second line together. 1, 2, ready, begin. C2, D2, C2, D2, C, C, D, D, C2, D2. Great. Now the last line is where I said we're going to play them at the same time, which is like this. So if I look at the rhythm for this last line, it says that I have a ta, 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 and I also see that these long ones in the beginning are forte, and these ones here at the end are piano. It says quietly he starts to disappear up there. Let's try that line. First, I will play it for you, and then we will play it together. So it's my turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to be quiet. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it together. We're going to be playing thumb and two finger at the same time, and we're going to start at forte. 1, 2, ready, begin. Ta, ta, Now we're going to go quiet. Ta, 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 and I look at the last line here for my instructions for what I do next, and I see this double bar line. There's no dots, so I don't need to repeat this one. When I get to that last point of the last line, I am done with the song. And now you know everything you need to know to play Gliding Goldfish. You will practice Gliding Goldfish 3 times a day. The first time, focus on the correct notes, the second time on the correct rhythms, and the third time on the correct dynamics.